Hello, I'm back. Now today we're going to do Yiquan Combat Step, right? So Combat Step is what you use to advance or go backwards as well, or sideways or diagonally when you're fighting within Yiquan. Now it's a very specific step, and the structure has to be learned. In fact, having said that, a while ago somebody commented about Yiquan being formless. There's a misconception about that. Yiquan is formless, but as opposed to martial art like Shaolin, for example, where you will practice, I don't know, let's say exercise 3 does that, and then down, yeah? But what you practice this a lot, and then what you're doing practically is somebody is about to punch you, you block, yeah? Grab the wrist of the person, then go over your own hand, hit, yeah, under the chin, and at the same time as you're pulling, you're hitting, yeah, and you're, yeah, under here. Now, when you do exercise 3, you do that, and then down, yeah, and Shifu. But when you are defending yourself, somebody might want to punch you, and you will naturally, after many years of practicing exercise 3, this will come naturally. You grab it, and then you don't even need to do that if you haven't trained your fingers, for example, right? Because martial art needs to adapt, right? One of the premises of martial art is that it has to adapt to every situation. So hundreds of years ago, you had people practicing the snake form, right? Which is, yeah, and it hits like that. It blocks and hits like that, right? Now, this has to be very strong. The difference between the snake form, hitting like that, and hitting like that, is that that will break or punch or go through, not go through, break, let's say. But this, if it's hard enough, this will cut and go through your skin. Yeah, but it needs to be really hard, and it becomes like a sword. Now, to be able to practice that, usually what they used to do is have massive bowls with fire and stones or sand, and they'd be going every day, yeah, for hours into the stone. You've seen it in movies sometimes, and that makes this so hard that if you hit someone like that or like that, yeah, this will be like a blade almost, right? So it will cut or destroy or break in a completely different way than this would, right? Now, what happens? A guy who's been doing that for most of his life, because he has to go off and his life depends on his martial art, because he's a soldier, right? And one arm gets cut off in battle, and he loses his sword, and he decides to use his hand to survive, and his hand is another sword. That's hundreds of years ago. Fine. Now, nowadays, you give a pen to that guy and say, okay, send me a check. He might not be able to close his hand further than this, right, to hold the pen. So where has your martial art adapted to the times you're living in? Yeah, that's why sometimes when I see some schools that you come into and they made everybody shave their hair off, and they're hitting pieces of log or the wall or whatever, and they've got like massive calluses in their knuckles, and their bones are knackered and all that. they're doing something that used to happen hundreds of years ago, and today you have to leave that place and get in public transport, right, to go home. So martial art needs to evolve with the times, and one of the premises is that it adapts. So as a martial artist, you have to adapt to anything that's thrown at you, let's say. Having said that, going back to Yiquan and to somebody who commented that Yiquan is formless, it is formless, but you need to be able to become formless, you need to learn all the structure there is. And this is structure, this is structure, this is structure, that structure. Everything is a learned discipline, right? And it is science, like yoga is science, yogic science, right? So when you sit and you're doing a mudra and you're meditating and you're doing whatever specific breathing, like 4252, that's science, yeah, and it is structure and it is form. That doesn't mean that you get so good at that, at this, yeah, and at everything you're doing, shiri, fali, yeah, and that which is structure and science, then you can start doing, yeah, what people consider Yiquan to be, which is formless, because it has no set form and it moves like water. But to be able to get there, you need to learn all the science, the discipline and the structure behind it. Yeah. Now, having said that, back to combat step, and you'll see how structured each one is. Yeah. Before you can break it down, and your body suddenly reacts. Yeah, like second nature to an attack or to something, or even to something in life, like a question. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's all about violence or fighting. A good martial artist will be able to address things in life, like work, problems, anything, with an open mind, and that's one of the major premises behind the learning of martial arts, that you can adapt to any situation. Now, to be able to do that, and that your body reacts, yeah, immediately and without you thinking about it, you first need to go through the whole motions of learning the structure, learning the practice, practicing every day, yeah? Combat step. Combat step is the way that we're going to move, yeah? When we are defending or attacking in the ring within the Yiquan practice of fighting, yeah? Boxing. Now, if we go back to the initial stance of what it is to do Zhangzhong, yeah? We're standing with our feet are parallel, yeah? Our legs are about the width of the shoulders, yeah? The inside line of the foot is the parallel side, not the outside banana-shaped one. Then the hip is there, straight, spine, arms go up. Now, before this happens, we slightly bend our knees, very slightly, not like this, it's not mapu, but it's not straight, it's slightly bent. You feel like you're hanging from the ceiling, yeah, or the sky. When you bend your knees, your hip rotates forward, yeah, like that. This lumbar section of the spine flattens, right? Or straightens up. Then the thoracic section is as straight as you can, and then the top section, you hang from the sky. Now you open, your scapulars and your shoulder, and you stand there in the basic Changchuan position, right? Inside a tennis ball, and on the outside you're grabbing a basketball. Now, you're standing there, your wrists and your shoulders are at the same height, your elbows are lower, and you feel like you're hanging from the sky. Then, you go 1 degree forward, and that's your position. Now, for combat step, combat position is going to be like this. 70% of your weight is in the back, 30% is in the front. When you hit, one arm is slightly forward with one leg, and this arm is slightly backwards with the other leg, right? So this is the combat stance for each one. Now, there is width between your heels, or your ankles if you like, of about 1 fist, Now, your hip is always facing forward, not like karate or other martial arts where the hip is slightly sideways. In Yiquan, your hip is facing your opponent because you might do that or that, And if your hip is already turned, you have to spring back to do that, Now, with your hip facing forward, you have, movement. Now, when we hit, you're going to go. This is going to spring, Everything is going to start from the hip, Remember, your hip is your center of balance, right? My extremities, I can extend them all the way out, Nothing happens. I move my hip 1 degree, I fall. So here is the center of balance. Now, from here, the movement is going to start. I'm going to go boom. Next thing that's going to move, first the hip. Next thing, the spine. It's going to turn after the hip. Next, the T, what I call the T, which is your shoulders, And the last thing that's going to move is your arm, My Shifu used to say, this is like a hammerhead, there's nothing here, and that is a nail. If you want to hammer a nail into the wall, you put the nail against the wall and hit it with a hammer, So basically, what happens is, I'm going to stand, if I stood like that, and somebody came from behind and did this, and if I was relaxed and somebody moved my hip would move. What would go next would be my spine, and what would go next would be my shoulders, and last, my arms. And this is what we're trying to do, So, you're going to stand there, hip, spine, shoulders, and last, arm. Now, the second you do that, the body starts pushing with this leg forward for impact. The second you impact, this leg pushes back. So, what you have all the time is forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. So, hip, spine, shoulders, arm last. At the same time, leg starts pushing forward. When it gets to that point, impact happens, and the second of impact, push back and back. So the hip has moved forward and back, and the whole body moves in a block forward and back. Boom. Now, very important, hip rotated forward, yeah? Why? Because if this is the center of balance, and I hit, and my hip does that, all my strength goes down there, yeah? But I keep it forward, this flat, boom, 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 boom. Even this, head can't do this, or this. It has to be as if you're holding an apple under your chin. Boom, boom. The whole spine in one movement. Boom, yeah? Now, hip, spine, shoulders, hip, push back, the second of impact. Boom. Now, the technique is relax, 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 relax. With relaxation, you get speed. With speed, the second you impact, contract everything. Push back, relax. Contract, relax. Contract, relax. Contract, relax. Contract, relax. Contract, relax. Yeah? The second of contraction needs to be shorter and shorter and shorter every time. And that makes this technique function like a whip, yeah? A whip, yeah? Is relaxed all the way. And the second of impact, yeah? Now, you have your structure, yeah? Hip, back, hip, back, hip, back, hip, back, yeah? Now, when you do your other hand, hip goes the other way. Instead of doing this, it does that. Yeah? So hip, hip. Now, combat step. With combat step, what we're going to do is, in that position, we're going to step forward and drag our back forward. Yeah? Now, if you look well, forward back, yeah, forward back, forward back, forward back. But there is an issue here that we have to learn, and this is we're used to walking like this. Yeah? What does that mean? Cross. Left leg, right arm. Cross. 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 Yeah? We didn't learn to walk like this. So, some of this stuff becomes difficult when you have to do something like this. Why? Because I'm going to stand there, step forward, but at the same time as I'm stepping forward, my hip is rotating this way, backwards, because it needs to spring back to hit, to be behind the hand, yeah? Behind this hit. So, spring back, hit, spring back, hit. But because we're used to doing that, and the hip going with the leg, yeah? What we need to learn, or deconstruct what we know, and relearn, is to walk like this. Yeah? Hip back, hip back. This is so that when we hit, boom, yeah? Forward back, forward back, forward back, yeah? Now, the other thing about Yiquan combat technique is, if I am hitting, yeah? If I stand in front of you and I hit, boom, and you grab my arm, which is not hitting, at the time I go boom, yeah, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna grab my hand and you're gonna do this, yeah, every time I hit, and you're gonna feel it here, back here, in your neck. Why? Because I don't just move one arm, boom, boom. I move my whole body as one, yeah, boom, yeah. So. Yeah. So this one is as strong as this one. This one's hitting, but this one is pulling. Yeah. So if you happen to grab this arm when I'm hitting, yeah, you will feel it like that. Yeah. So you have to understand the whole movement of the combat step, right? Now, you're going to stand there, step, hit, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. I am doing it exaggerated, of course, because so that you see the movement, right? This then becomes boom, right? So, boom, boom. You might be doing this, and it might be happening inside, happening like that. Yeah? Because it comes from hours of this, of this, of this, of this, of this, yeah? Dragon, of this. So, combat step. First practice, this, nothing. Drag, forward, back, forward, back. Next, hitting, boom, boom, boom. Remember, leg goes forward, but hip goes back. Now, when you hit with your back arm, it's easier in a way, because it's more organic for us. Leg goes forward, hip accompanies the leg, comes back with behind the hand, yeah? Comes back with the back arm. So, yeah? Now, after that, you combine the two. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, yeah? But the most important thing is a lot of practice of just, yeah? Combat step. That's forward. Then, back. Yeah? Always remember, 70% of the weight in the back, 30% in the front. And that's for now, combat step. See you next time.